The 7th generation of gaming has a lot of must-play titles, but none of them really stand out like this.
Yes, Juliet, you!
So it's finally time to hit the backlog because I found a copy of Lollipop Chainsaw. My plan for this game is to 100% it and find out exactly what makes it tick. So if you like the video, make sure you let me know by liking the video. Okay, I'm almost done making this video and I'm about to do the subtitles. But since I have my chat on screen for my stream, I'm probably just going to put them in the closed captions instead of putting them up on the video. Let me know in the comments if you think that's a good idea. All right, back to the video. Now, let's get started. Right off the bat, I made two very big mistakes. Firstly, I streamed the game, which was only a problem because of this. And this. And this. Oh yeah, I'm super demonetized now. Over about 5 streams, I received almost 60 copyright claims from playing this game. Luckily, they don't really hurt my channel, at least I don't think so. I actually have no idea how YouTube works. The second mistake I made was one I make fairly often. I played the game on hard first. Lollipop Chainsaw at its core is a hack and slash game, and like most hack and slash games, it has a progression system for increasing your damage and unlocking more combos. This is all done through an in-game shop being saved across all of your playthroughs. So you're supposed to work your way up to hard. Otherwise, this happens.
And he stands there, unfazed!
The enemies in the game have tons of health, especially later towards the end of the game, and it only gets worse on hard. Luckily, it doesn't take too long to get a feel for the gameplay, but it's just one of those games where difficulty only really turns the enemies into bullet sponges. Or I guess chainsaw sponges. Now, the combat in Lollipop Chainsaw is actually pretty simple but very satisfying. Normal attacks like punching and kicking deal very little damage but can stun enemies, leaving them open to your chainsaw. Spoilers, you have a chainsaw in this game. The chainsaw functions as a heavy attack, being slow and awkward to use but obviously deals tons of damage. And any chainsaw attack on a stunned enemy is an instant kill. The combos you can unlock are what you'll be using throughout most of the game though. They're all mostly really satisfying to pull off and some deal enough damage to kill zombies outright without needing to stun them first. But this does make a small balancing issue, which is my only real problem with this game. Just think about it. If you walked up to a group of zombies and started beating them up, then they'll all just get stunned and you won't need to do a combo because you can finish them off with the chainsaw. This makes most of the combos useless to mix with normal combat and divides them all into 2 categories. The ones that kill enemies, and the ones that don't. All of these combos are purchased from the in-game shop along with increases to separate stats, smaller goodies like unique outfits, and consumable tickets that allow you to do special attacks with your boyfriend's decapitated head, which I'll explain later. You buy all of these with coins you can get by killing zombies. The more you kill at once, the more coins you get, along with a cool slow-mo shot that the game calls Sparkle Hunting. Lollipop Chainsaw also has a ranking mode which allows you to play each level in either score attack, time attack, or metal attack and post your score to online leaderboards. And while playing this mode, the easiest difficulty is locked, and the shops are all replaced with these weird chicken monsters. In total, there are 7 levels, the prologue and then stages 1 through 6, which each have their own theme, location, and boss fight. As you progress, you will see some newer types of zombies to fight, but the game will largely feel and play the same throughout an entire playthrough, no matter how many playthroughs you have to do. That's basically it for the gameplay. Obviously, this game is just a zombie hack and slash, so if you were alive 10 years ago, then you pretty much know what you're getting into. The story, on the other hand, is something completely else. You can't really talk about Lollipop Chainsaw without mentioning that James Gunn helped write it, which is just a weird little fact that strangely makes sense. The game opens with a cutscene introducing Juliet Starling, an in-training zombie hunter and the character we play as throughout the game. The story takes place on her birthday, with her plans being ruined by a zombie apocalypse. And together with the talking severed head of her boyfriend Nick, she plans to stop it. So I said I would talk about the boyfriend, but there aren't too many details to give. After he gets bitten in the prologue, Juliet just does some vague magic ritual off screen and then... And honestly, Nick is just the best.
Yesterday, I stubbed my toe. I was like, this is the worst day ever. Yeah, not quite.
Most of the characters in this game come off as extremely one-dimensional, mostly because they're there just to be funny. But Nick seems to be the most fleshed out of any of them, despite not being fleshed out. The game doesn't really start until you find Juliet's zombie hunting sensei, who immediately jobs and dies right after you meet him. But he gives you the main exposition on what's happening and how to stop it.
Using a combination of black magic and explosives, someone cracked the wall between Earth and Rotten World. Fortunately, once they have become zombies, there is no return. All we can do is clean up the school, kill the undead, and stop the bomber. That is our mission.
Together, Juliet and Nick have to stop the zombie apocalypse by killing the Dark Purveyors, 5 zombie generals summoned by this random dude. I knew a guy like this used to stand on the corner and bang his head against the wall. Oh no! Each stage introduces a new purveyor along with a different member of Juliet's family. The first one you meet is Juliet's older sister Cordelia, who's supposed to be this cooler, more advanced zombie hunter, but really doesn't help you all too much.
Let's go! I'm out of ammo. I was so close. Sorry, Juliet, but the rest is up to you.
Thanks, sis. Oh boy, now I feel the pressure.
Next, you meet her little sister Rosalind, and her only personality trait is to be a goddamn nut. Like, seriously, this chick is Looney Tunes.
Hey guys, don't worry! I'm cool! I've got it all under control! Shit!
Finally, you meet her dad, who's just kind of there. He's supposed to be a biker, I guess. There's really not too much to him.
My little girl is a tactical genius.
And once you're in stage 5, you all team up to fight the last purveyor. But this is where we get into real spoiler territory, so if you want to play this for yourself, go ahead and skip ahead to here. Alright, so the game is fairly straightforward until you get to the last Dark Purveyor. With the help of her family, Juliet gets all the way to the final boss fight, but then she has to fight him alone. Or at least only with Nick. And after a fairly easy boss battle with some of the best boss music ever, Juliet manages to defeat him, but things don't just end there. It turns out Swan is effectively just an incel that was mad at Juliet for not liking him. So he killed everyone. Like I said, this isn't the deepest game, so even the villain's motivation is played for a joke. Apparently it was his plan for the purveyors to all lose to Juliet, in doing so creating a ritual to summon a super zombie called the Killabilly. That's not what I expected the final boss to look like. All this takes you to stage 6, the final level and one that's extremely short. After a small section where you have to approach Killabilly, Juliet takes it head on in one last attempt to save the world. Okay, I guess I killed the fingers. Jumping on his body? What? What do you mean jump on his body? Okay, not bad, I guess. I will try that when it's relevant. You keep saying that. I don't know what it means. Once you've completed the in-game fight, Juliet's dad comes through with a heroic sacrifice in order to give her an opening to defeat the Killabilly for good. By going inside the zombie and finding his core, Juliet can stop him for good and end the zombie invasion. But to do so, she has to use Nick's head as a magical bomb to destroy it. Despite all this though, the game does have a happy ending. As a reward for his sacrifice, Nick is given a second chance to live and is given his full body back. But somehow he ends up in the sensei's body. It's a fate worse than death, he's a manlet. Even Juliet's dad survived blowing himself up for some reason, and everyone gets to walk into the sunrise together. All in all, I give Lollipop Chainsaw's story a style over substance out of 10. It's not bad, but it's only really there so it can deliver all the funny dialogue.
What's your favorite color, Nick?
Blue? No, green.
Awesome. I love learning about you.
I fucked up. It's yellow.
But the gameplay and story isn't all the game has to offer. I also want to take a moment and talk about all of the collectibles. And for a Generation 7 game, that means achievements. Lollipop Chainsaw has 50 achievements for a total of 1,000 gamer score. By the time I got the last one, I only had about 25 hours played in the game, which is an incredibly fast 1000G compared to most other games. This can obviously be done even faster by not starting the game on the highest difficulty for no reason. Shit, oh, I'm getting messed up. This might actually be hard. I would blame streaming on slowing me down too, but that would just be me coping, because honestly, it didn't. I'm just bad at video games. By playing through the game once, you're guaranteed at least 160 gamer score. There's one 15G achievement for each of the 7 levels, along with another 15G for watching the bad ending. You also get a 30G achievement by answering all of the phone calls you get throughout the game, which is tied to your story progression, and 10 more gamer score for your first 500 zombie kills, which should happen by the time you've beaten it. There's an extra 5G for buying your first combo at the shop, which is technically missable, but you'd have to be trying to not get that one. Next are the easy achievements that only require knowing about them in order to get, with the most famous one being, I swear I did it by mistake. While you're at it, you can leapfrog enemies, destroy objects in the environment, get struck by lightning in stage 2, and turn off auto-aim in order to get some headshots for a total of 45 more gamer score. From there, you can also get an achievement that's a reference to the game's creator, Suda51, by spamming your jump attack 51 times. By playing the game enough to get all of these, you should also get Rich Hunter for getting your first 1,000 medals. Then the last really easy achievement to get should be one for getting 7 zombies and 1 sparkle hunting. This can be a little tricky, but there's a really easy spot to do this in stage 3. Next up, each boss has an achievement tied to their fight for a total of 60 more gamer score. For Zed and Lewis Legend, all you have to do is wait for them to attack you in order for you to get counters. Vike's achievement is done by letting him knock you off the ship so you can get a quick time event. And Mariska's is for not letting her hit you at all with her bubbles. Josie's is the easiest because you only have to wait for the last 10 seconds to defeat him. And finally, Killabilly is done by attacking his hands until you've cut off 20 fingers total. The game also has a few trickier level-specific achievements tied to stages 2 onward. The one for getting every medal on the roof is a bit of a pain, but is straightforward enough to get after a few tries. But in stage 3, all you have to do is cut down all the crops before you kill all the zombies and move on. And then you get to stage 4, which has the only truly awful achievement in this entire game. You have to beat this minigame without defending yourself in order to get the achievement, and for some reason I did it at the same time as another achievement that makes me restart the entire level if I ever fail. I have no idea why I did this. Oh my god. Oh. Help, help, help.
Oh, no.
No! What? What? Finally, stage 5 and 6 have the easiest achievements by just not getting hit by a wrecking ball and doing a simple QTE. Depending on how well you play the game while you're getting all of these achievements, you'll probably end up rescuing all of Juliet's classmates that you encounter throughout the game. This will net you a solid 45G, as well as unlocking the good ending for another 100. And after that, all this leaves is the grindier achievements. You're gonna have to buy everything in the shop, but luckily it's not that hard. Stage 5 has a lot of densely packed zombies, so playing through on hard a couple of times will get you a quick 135 gamer score. 60 for farming the kills, and then 75 for clearing out the shop. After that, we're 2/3 of the way there. This is also the best time to get the achievement Love Nick, just by buying and using the Nick special attack for a cumulative total of 100 times.
Nick Popper.
Now, there are 2 achievements that actually require you to play on hard, and they're best done with a guide. I recommend this because even though I played on hard, I completely missed out on everything for these. The game has special lollipops and named enemies, with a select few randomly being on hard only throughout the game. As far as I know, these don't save unless you finish the level, so a quick playthrough on hard is basically required. This will get you the 30G for all of the golden lollipops, but there's one last name zombie that only appears in ranking mode, which is where we'll get the last whopping 285 gamer score basically all at once. In ranking mode, there are default scores for you to beat in each level, with the highest being from Juliet's dad. For most of the levels, these are insanely easy to beat, but stages 2 and 4 have the score set really high for no reason. Thankfully for us though, the game isn't too hard to exploit, and I actually found a spot in stage 4 that lets you farm points infinitely. But stage 2 took me like a billion tries. I'm actually too ashamed to watch the VOD and find out exactly how long I was here, but it was a while. Dying has a point penalty in ranked mode, so if you ever mess up, you basically have to restart. But if you stick with it long enough and power through, you'll get the last 10 achievements all at once. 1 for playing each level in ranked mode, 1 for killing the last name zombie, 7 for beating dad's score in each level, and finally the last one for unlocking all the BGM in the game, which are the in-game rewards for getting the high scores in the first place. And that is it. I have to say, Lollipop Chainsaw was one of the fastest games I ever did 100% in. And while I did have a few rage moments while playing the game, I left with a generally positive experience. I'm absolutely not saying that this is an amazing game, but it's definitely still worth playing. Even if you never knew about the game, it still gives off a nostalgic feel because it's just like a time capsule of the early 2010s. Now, there are a few jokes that didn't age well, but all in all, I still really like the game. But I'm also curious to know what you guys think. While the dialogue in the game is pretty funny, I could see why someone might not think it's worth the repetitive combat, even for hack and slash. But if you ever want to get my first impression of the game, you can always go and watch the VOD on my channel. Maybe even become a member while you're there? Just a fair warning though, I am pretty bad and sometimes I can get just a little toxic.
Oh my god, that whole section was a goddamn nightmare.
Really quickly, as usual, I want to apologize for how long it took to make this video. I don't know how obvious it was, but I've had a really sore throat for a while now, so thank you guys for being patient. And if you ever want to see me stream games like this in the future, you can always subscribe down below and see when I go live. And now it's time to thank the members, with the special thanks to Not a House, Colby Workman, Tanner Moulton, someone who somehow doesn't have a name. I don't know what to do about that one. Sorry. Ziegler Neo, Mindless Actions, and Ryan MK666. Thanks. Bye.